Welcome back. It's still Galaxy today, and of course, we'll be looking at domestic help controversies. And then, like Justin rightly said, if you want to be part of this program, you should be able to text. Just SMS only. Don't call the number that will be displayed on the screen. We have here in the studio Chudi Obiofuma, founder at checkmypeople.com. I hope I pronounced it well.
That's okay. Thank you very much for having me on. All right.
It's good to have you.
Yes, thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay.
We are concerned about a social problem. And that is the risk we all engage in when we have unverified people take care of our homes, take care of our children. These days, the father and the mother have to work. So we're depending more on these domestic helps. But you see, the way we engage them is very faulty. It's word of mouth. We don't know who these people are, but we trust them with our children.
Yes.
In fact, the analogy is that, you know, when you're leaving for work in the morning, you lock up your home, you lock up your jewelry, and you think you're safe, but you hand your most prized person, your children, to a driver you just engaged last week, and you know nothing about this driver.
Okay, but the thing again is, when we talk about domestic help, you know, aside from the people who offer the services professionally online as by getting them, you know, most times, most people do go to the village or the villages to get their distant cousins, you know, and people who, you know, they bring to the town, you know, to take care of the children. How do you begin to verify these people in this particular language?
Thank you very much for that question. That is, in fact, you know, we had a breakthrough with the government, whereby the government set up what we call the National Identity Number.
Okay, NIN, yeah.
Before we didn't have that, we could not uniquely identify anybody. So somebody could come to your home, whether from the village or wherever, it doesn't matter, and commit an infraction in your home. You get angry, you fire that person. What does he do? He goes to the next street. No, that person, that suspecting family knows absolutely nothing about him. And they engage him, and he continues to perpetrate that crime. Now, this problem has been with us forever, but the consequences of that risk is becoming more egregious. Before, people would pilfer, people would steal from you, but now they are committing murder. They are drugging people, they are kidnapping people. So it's a social problem that we have to address. And that is why we're coming up with the concept of community policing. Now, what does that mean? That means you and I will join a community that keep an eye on the people that work for us. Now, you think that you're doing very little in your home by just registering the people in your house. Now, the way the system works is that we have a database in the cloud, and we give access to members only. Now, when you're a member, we keep you anonymous because we don't want you to give out your number, we don't want you to give out your street address. But you have to give us your email address because we want to verify that you're really a genuine person. So we send you an email to verify you're a member. Now, what do you do to put on your staff? You got to have one, the national identity number. If you don't have it, you go get it. NIMC is the place where government, the body, that's responsible for enrolling people. I know that there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of efficiency. People have complained that it takes a long while, and I appeal to the government, let's expedite that process. Because, government has given us lemon, we're trying to make lemonade out of this. So what we're saying is that if you have that, you also have to upload the picture of that person. Not only would you upload the picture, the guarantor of that person, preferably a family member, then also the address of that person. And we want you to get the consent of that person and let them know that you are tracking them. You are monitoring them. Just like all of us who work in corporate environment, we do have HR give us performance appraisals. Give your people performance appraisals and say, look, if you are good, it shows up for your future employer that you're a good worker. But if you are bad, you are less likely to be employable because, it's going to show up to a future employer. That's an incentive for them to do good by you. That's a value.
Okay.
Now, yeah, go ahead.
Talking about incentive now and the mode of payment.
Yes.
I've had seen cases where they say if you bring in a lad to stay with you, is either you train the lad maybe through skills acquisition, or they stay with you, you train them through education probably to a tertiary level, or you pay them salary.
Right. Well, we don't get involved with how you manage your domestic staff because all we're doing is we're creating an enabling environment for people to join a community. We're saying that we need 1 million people to join this community. Now, why would we need 1 million people? Because if you're a member of the community and I am a member of the community, at some point your staff will move around. So if your staff comes to me now and I say, good, you're a very professional driver, I like you, and I want to hire you, but wait a minute, let me just check you on checkmypeople.com. And I put in your NIM. And I heard that when he was with you, he stole from you. Now, Check My People is not telling you not to hire that person, but you make that decision yourself. All we're doing is providing you that information. We didn't provide that information. A fellow member provided that information. So it's a peer-to-peer community policing each other. So you are the eyes and ears of your community as far as your own domestic staff are concerned.
But how do you, if your peer is one uploading this information,
yes,
how do you know if it's authentic?
Because number one, the national ID number you can verify.
Okay.
Don't forget that there's a government body, NIMC, that does that, and you can actually verify that on the system. And you have to have the number, you have to have the name and the first name and last name to say, okay, this person is the same. And there's a picture. There's actually a picture ID that you get. And I think government is promoting it right now. And I think there are about 26 million people who have been enrolled, and I think there's a lot more to go. But we are encouraging people to use that tool, because that's the way we uniquely identify people now. They are able
like
to
social security,
like a social security, because people are able to get away with things because you cannot identify them. So if I come in as a Lagbaja now, I can go to the next house at Musa. Nobody knows.
But how do we really ensure security when it comes to having domestic and help? Because fine, you've done all your background verification and checks, and maybe on checkmypeople.com, and you find that this person can actually fit into what I want. I now bring this person who is almost a total stranger still to your house. But how can you really ensure what they do with your children when you are not around?
Okay. Because you see, with our system, they only have a one-time opportunity to do bad. Because if they do bad to that person, that member, the member will put that assessment on the database. So anybody that wants to engage them will see that record that this person messed with me or messed with my children. And they will never be employable again. People put CCTV in their homes. CCTV detects crime. We are trying to prevent crime. And the only way you prevent crime is if I know your history. So if you are coming to me and I put in your NIN number and I see what assessment other members have said, and if the assessment says you're a good worker, that you're honest, you're all that, then that's fine, I'll bring you in. You are no longer a stranger, because I trust the judgment of my peers in that community.
Okay, but I have like 3 more questions. How do you assess the person's health status? Because that is very important as well. And then I almost forgot the second one. Anyway, to come by, but how do you assess the person's health status? And okay, this is the second one. In the place of these guys, there was something that went viral on Facebook about a particular man who disguised as a woman, and then of course raped about 3 girls he was in care of. I think about 2 were pregnant; they were barely 13. So in a situation whereby I have uploaded this particular person's detail, and he's not coming to you as that person. He came as Musa to me, but came to you as maybe Dorothy, and is all disguised.
Right. If I did my due diligence, that person will never make our system, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because I'll verify his national identity number. Don't forget that national identity number, you have to give all kinds of biometrics. But what if he is
not in your system? That's what I mean.
No, he doesn't have to be in our system, but he's in the government database. The National Identity Management Commission that creates this NIN
what you're saying
number.
Now the NIN now, people cannot really verify for sure. What about our people who have not been captured into the database, and the NIN and NIMC, that is, they don't have an NIN or a national ID card, and they actually want to be on this platform, and what do they do?
Then absolutely, it's a dependency. You have to have an NIN number. That's the only way our system, otherwise our system will not work. We have to use a unique identifier. It's just like you saying you're in the States and you're trying to get a job and you have no social security number. Sorry, you have to get a social security number. You have to be documented. So anybody who is not documented, I would advise that people stay away from them. Or you can perfect that documentation. Okay, you're from the village, you don't have NIN number. I'll take you to the place and I'll register you. And I'll give you I'll make you legit. because
But
it's in my interest.
It takes some time.
It does take some time. I understand that. But you see, look, it depends on what's important to you. My most important job is a father. So I'll jump through hoops and loops to make sure that my children are home. If you go to our website, you see a lady who is holding up help sign. Because a lot of ladies today are professionals. They're working, they're earning a living, but also they have their eye in the home. You know, the men, not that we don't care, you know, but we do not pay detailed attention. It's the lady that does that. So you see, it's the lady that's actually, you know, engaged with hiring process and all that. So she needs help. She wants to be able to say, you know what, if I'm holding something against you, I have leverage over you because I'm recording something against you that will ensure that if you do something wrong and I put you in the system, you are likely not to be employed. Let's just look, for example, this is a purely Nigerian solution, but let's borrow from what's happening abroad and say, people don't pay their bills abroad because they like to pay their bills. They pay their bills because they want a good credit history. Because if you have a bad credit history, you can't get a job, you can't get a loan. So the same thing we're saying, you want to maintain a good record of employment with me as a member of a big community, because if you don't and I put a bad record, you are likely not to be employed anywhere else. So, and again, it's not a punitive thing only for workers. It's also a good thing. For example, I'm a good worker. I'm a good driver. I've driven my bus for 10 years, but my boss has to go abroad. He has to leave. And I need to find a job. I want as a driver to be able to say, go and check me on checkmypeople.com and see my record. And when that guy does that, the guy should be able to pull that you worked with this guy for 10 years and everything in your record is impeccable. So it's a plus. But what we're saying is that let's let the good people sail to the top, let weed out the bad people.
But it's almost sounding almost elitist, you know, as it is now. So invariably you're saying this is the best way to go, especially when hiring helps, be they domestic helps, be they drivers, you know. So ordinarily, if you cannot verify anybody, you know, through their national identification, there's no point bringing them to your homes.
It depends on the level of risk averse, how risk averse you are. I'm very risk averse. Some people take chances. I say to people, it's not my portion, it's not a strategy. You have to do something to make sure that your children are safe. What am I working for? What am I there for if my children are not safe? So, I mean, I would take the time to go, you know, document them, make them legit. It wouldn't take anything. When we go abroad, we do, you know, get visas, we do go through hoops to get all those things. So this is not different. So what we're saying is that, look, go through the process of doing that. It's us for us by us, you know? So while you're doing yours in your little silo home, you're actually feeding a database that everybody has access to. And that database, that information that you have put up there might save another family from death, might save another child from destruction. So, you know, our hashtag is be my sister's keeper, like I said, be my brother's keeper. So when you feel as you are part of a community, you'll be diligent with doing your own part, because you know that the little sums make up a very efficient whole. So the more we have people there, the better for us. We're leveraging technology. Not only technology, not only the database also, we're leveraging social media. So we're saying that, okay, if something happens to me, I should be able to go as a member to my Twitter feed and say, this is what happened. This is what I learned from it. Or this is what's happening to me. How do I deal with it? Somebody somewhere within the community should be able to answer you to say, oh yes, I dealt with this last year and this is how I did, you know, this is how I did it. So we're looking at this concept of community policing for us by us, making sure that we keep our children safe. We are trying to put the security back in your hands. Right now, we don't have it. The way we do it, whether you are from the village, whether you can document anybody, you can legitimize anybody. They are all Nigerians. There's no place, government does not say you have to have school certificate before you have an NIN number. So whether you are straight from the village, I can get you an NIN number because it's important to me as a member of the community. So what we're employing people, especially ladies, you can have that rest of mind, register, document your people, and let them know that you because when you let them know, you say, look, I got this. You know, just like all of us work, and when we have a bad record, you know, we don't get promoted. I'm saying, look, if you do good, I'll put it there. We recommend that you assess your staff every 3 months. You know, if you're doing good, we put it there. If you do bad, we'll put it there. The good record will show you up. the bad record will make you unemployable. So would that person want to do that crime? And another thing we say is that people say, why are you not joined to the police record? These people are not criminals. The people that come to your home are not the armed robbers. Those are people
maybe not at the beginning.
No, those are people who start with crimes of opportunity. Okay. It's a character problem. If you leave your 50,000 naira, does that person have the moral compass to say, that's madam's money, I'm not going to touch it? Or would I take some? That's how they start. So it's not so the police record is good, but we're not looking at it as the be all and all. And what we're saying again is that if somebody commits an offense that requires a police action or a court action, we give you the ability to upload the police record, the police statement or the court ruling. You can see. So the person is not denying that, oh, madam didn't like me, that's why she put it there. Okay, madam uploaded the police report. In fact, you're wanted. You see? So we're not asking people to play policeman. But we're just saying people will give you enough information to make sure that you choose the right person to come to your home for the sake of your children, for the sake of your property.
But then again, looking at all of this, looking at the advantages and all of these disadvantages, therein in domestic help, do you really think ordinarily we really need to get people into our houses just because we can't do some of those things by ourselves?
It's unfortunate, but now both parents are working. Before you have stay-at-home moms and they can do this thing. But you know what? They have to go to work. They have to, earn some income. And somebody has to look after the kids. So they are a necessary service. And it's not even elitist because, like the other guy was saying, every skill, there's dignity in labor. There should be dignity in being a driver. There should be dignity in being a cook. Because, if you took it out to the next level as an entrepreneur, you can make a lot of money from it. So we're not looking down on this, domestic health. And we're also not limiting it to domestic health. We're saying every low cadre person. Because look, if you have a boutique, you have a cashier, you have a salesperson, you have a store clerk, you should put them on the system because they're handling your money. And you want to make sure that, look, if you handle my money wrong and you steal from me, I'm going to have a record there against you that somebody will see in future and make you unemployable. That's an incentive for them to be good. And also, for we talked about the agencies. Let's talk about the agencies for a little while. Now, people are relying more on the agencies today. And they're good. I don't have a problem with agencies, but it's been infiltrated. There are some agencies that are bad. There are some agencies that are quacks. We should be able to let those agencies be weeded out. And what we do is we give you, the member, the ability to record your interaction with every agency. And we give you the star rating. So if you give an agency 1, the agency should go and explain to people why they're getting a rating of 1. Because the guy is able to tell them, this is what happened. You gave me people that were bad. Now, if I was an agent, I would want to get a star 5 because guess what? The star 5 is where people will flock to because you're dependable. So those kind of reports is in their interest for them to be good too. So all we're doing is introducing accountability. And how well are we doing it? The community is demanding it. We're saying, by documentation, by keeping our eyes on the ones we have, everybody has the eyes on what they have because it's my reports that I put up that the future employer will look at in future and say, you know what, based on what my peer has said about you, you're a good worker, I'll hire you. Or no matter how good you are, if you have a character flaw and my peer has said it, I will not hire you. Now, the other thing that somebody has asked in a prior interview is that, okay, what about the vindictive madam? You worked for these people for 5 years, you've been very good. Then you leave and she's angry and she puts bad report. That's why we say, during the term of that report, you must have an assessment every 3 months.
Okay.
So if you've been good for 5 years, every 3 months you're getting a good assessment. All of a sudden you leave madam, you get a series of bad assessments.
But the help themselves, they don't really get any input in this.
Oh, they should. They should. They should demand it. The help should demand it. If I'm good, if I'm giving you my life and I'm giving you my service, I demand that you give me you give me an appraisal to say, madam, this is what I've been doing. I worked for you 2 years. Put this thing because I want to use this as a reference in future.
Okay.
So it's a win-win for everybody. So it's a community. Unfortunately, the employees cannot be members. It's only the employers that can be members. But the employees should be able to defend themselves. They should be able to know what is being written about. In fact, we do want them to know what's being written about themselves because we're holding them accountable. We're making sure that, look, do good, you get a good record. Do bad, you get a bad bad record.
Okay, it's a very good thing, but this is Lagos. How far have you covered in Nigeria?
Now we're starting our demographics, is, professional working people,
Okay.
and not necessarily professional working people, because everybody's a working person. Research has shown that, the women make most of the decisions, so we're targeting our, women's groups, but at the same time, everybody can use the system. It's not gender specific. Now, Lagos is our primary target, then we're doing Abuja, then we're going to go to Port Harcourt. Now we're going to see the adoption rate, because at this point it's new in Nigeria. It is new to us. It is, for people to take the time to put in something that, because people are skittish about sharing information. They don't want public information, and we are showing people that, look, you're anonymous on this system. The only way people will recognize you, will know who you are. They won't even know who you are. The only way we identify you is through your membership number, which is a jumbled up number of about 12 characters. Now you have the option to opt out from contact, because one of the things we put in is that if you put in a an appraisal on somebody, we give you the option to say, I want to be contacted if you have a question. Okay. So the only way you can do that is by email, but you can opt out of that. But it's also an added benefit for if I look at the search and say, this guy said this about that guy, maybe I should be able to send an email and say, could you expatiate on what you're talking about that you say this guy did? So, and I think there's no risk in answering email. You can ignore the email, but the thing is that if you don't want to be contacted by email, you opt out and your email is not revealed to the members of the community. So the only way you identify is your membership number and your email. So it's risk-free. It's up in the cloud. Nobody's going to burn down the server. Okay. It is protected by secured network so that your data is encrypted, everything is encrypted. And we also have a form, a consent form, which we say you should share with your employees to give them consent. We just want to be, we just want to be safe to say, like, you have their permission to share that information. So do that, you download that, you upload it back, you get them to sign, you upload it back, and we have a community. And the bigger the community, I tell you, things will begin to change. We don't have to live with that risk anymore. We have the technology, we have the will to do it, and government is partnering with everybody by giving us the NIN, and let's go take security back into our hands, and let's not depend on these unverified people.
Well, that's very, very interesting. Very nice to know that we can actually have all of them all in one. Get our life secured, our children's life secured, and with the help of the government, with the help of technology, we can actually sleep with our 2 eyes closed, and we can also, be so confident that our children are safe even when we are not there to watch over them. Many thanks for being a part of the show. We do appreciate all of your inputs this morning.
Thank you so much.
But let's have your social media handle.
Yes, the social media is checkmypeople.com. Yes, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, and we are on YouTube, and also we are on Facebook. So this is where the community is also an extension of the community. Like the page, join, so that you can share experiences, that you can go and see what your peers are going through. All of us have it. Even when my children were growing up, we had it with the drivers, so it's all there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh yes, that was Chudi Obio, former founder, checkmypeople.com. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And of course to James Owolabi, the CEO of Builders Hub, whom we had earlier. And of course, he took us through place of skills acquisition. I want to say big thanks to him. And of course, you sitting out there, thank you so much for being part of this.